What's up, Nerfers or foam flingers, or as I like to call you in this specific instance of this video, End Warriors. It's that time of year again. It's time to provide a massive link tree providing you all the information that you need about HvZ EndWar. Starting next year, all of this is going to be on a website because the event is quickly snowballing out of hand. It's becoming a major time commitment, and it's such a terrific and fantastic responsibility and opportunity to provide our hobby's largest community-driven nerfing event to you guys. So this year I have already announced, and I will drive the point home immediately, we will be at State College, Pennsylvania, at Pennsylvania State, or Penn State, or PSU, depending upon how familiar you are with the university and its player base or student body. That said, it's going to be taking place June 26th, 27th, and 28th at Penn State. We've already reserved the bulk of our necessary arrangements. We've even gone ahead and booked two sweet indoor soccer fields for the Foam Pro Tour's second year. It will be returning with a cash prize in the 5v5 Ion Rush format with some tweaks and twists to overall field layout and just kind of the type of cover that'll be available. But that'll be a surprise for later on. Maybe we'll announce it, maybe we'll make you guys experience it fresh, which I think could be very exciting as well. But that'll be returning with a full cash prize, our hobby's most critical competitive nerfing event, which I am just such a huge believer in, to the degree that I am willing to run it at a cash deficit. So with FPT2, FPT Boogaloo ending on Sunday, it's kind of like a dessert to a fantastic three-course meal, letting us kind of finish off with a tremendous competitive flair and really get it all out of our system and leave it all out on the field. And some people will leave with a little more than just exhaustion in the form of cash in pocket and prizes in hand. However, during that day, if you're not interested in nerfing at the absolute highest level, you are always welcome to engage in some very friendly, fun, two-team kind of deathmatch game types that we'll be playing with EndWar level primaries outside. That said, the indoor soccer field's FPT2, and if that's the dessert our hobby deserves, then let's talk about appetizers in the form of all of your fan favorites. Running Friday morning, from the morning into the early afternoon, we will have the return of FoamCon, our hobby's largest community-driven convention, and I am so thrilled, so excited that this kind of meet and greet / company vendor format that's realistically like what we know now as convention style booth hosting is returning to our hobby, featuring like all of your favorite content creators. We have an amazing litany of content creators lined up. I'll leave it up to them to tell you if they're coming, and I will publish a formal guest list preceding the event of people who have confirmed with me that they have every intention of being there. If you haven't already signed up for a booth and you are committed to attending HvZ EndWar and want to show off your craft, your photos, your custom blasters, your custom blaster parts, your YouTube channel, Instagram, mom's special spaghetti dinner, whatever it might be, send me a link. There's a full vendor application form down in the description box below. As is tradition, tables will be handed out based on legacy and merit, because that's all that matters. Your table is free. Once again, if you meet legacy and merit qualifications, we are excited to have you and put you in front of our 1,000+ attendees who will be excited and animated to meet you, see your stuff, sign up for your different giveaways, buy your EndWar exclusives, of which there are many. Always a big fan favorite, and you'll get to pick up your official game bandana and perhaps support the event by buying a patch. Our colors this year are monochromatic this go round, which is pretty exciting in and of itself. That'll make more sense as we kind of glide through the FoamCon festivities and into the main course, which is of course Humans vs. Zombies Adventures, this time in space. So when we teased this one, we mentioned that it was going to be truly out of this world. And to that end, we're conglomerating a bunch of different intellectual properties and kind of giving them the traditional EndWar twist and delivering them to you in Humans vs. Zombies fashion. I don't want to tell you specifically which in-space properties are going to be the heaviest hitting from this year's game, but I'm going to tell you that you might want to brush up on a little bit of this, and you definitely are going to want to be up to date on the full litany of far away enterprises, such that you'll really be able to appreciate some of our characters, some of our moderator characters, some of our props, effects, etc. I would always encourage people to kind of dive into the theme because it makes EndWar a lot more fun, but rest assured, your traditional humans versus zombies accoutrement will be in full swing. There will be some special zombies, and everything will be drizzled with that flavor, but by and large, you're playing HvZ in a tremendous scale that is only ever accomplished at EndWar, and we're going to have an amazing time. So if you're interested in presenting that to the player base and you have some experience with these matters, we have an HvZ moderator application form down in the description box below. We have a pretty good core team that we've assembled from years past, but we're always looking to expand our ranks with fine and friendly faces. So if you're interested in that, we provide housing if necessary. We try and feed you at least once. You get exclusive bandanas, t-shirts, etc. And we're going to do our very best to take care of you, teach you a bunch of stuff that we use, and move that into your local HvZ community. If you're already an experienced veteran, we'd always like the help. We are by no means the best at everything, and the things that we are the best at, we are only the best at because of our tremendous and incredible volunteer staff that help us bring this event to life in different forms and universes every single year. So with all of that said, we have applications for moderators, we have applications for vendors, and then there's going to be 2 Eventbrite links down in the description box below. One of them is so that you can sign up and I can keep tally of you as a player in HvZ EndWar. If you're coming, if you plan on participating in our HvZ extravaganza, I need you to sign up for the Eventbrite down in the description box below. And then if you have a team that you want to register for the Foam Pro Tour 2, I'm starting it off with 16 slots. If we get more than 16 teams, which I sincerely hope we do, I will open up more slots. Given the tremendous amount of cash we lost last year and the overwhelming response to the event selling out, I think that I'm going to have to up the entry price from $50 to $100 for teams of 5. You can of course have a couple of alternates. I think that we can afford to charge a little bit more, especially given that your HvZ experience is, as always, completely and totally free. That's the bandana, the entire experience, opportunities for conquest, glory, and eventual brains. But with all of that said, 2 minor pieces of housekeeping. The goal of HvZ EndWar being a traveling event has always been to promote the hobby and grow it wherever it goes. Thus far, it's done a pretty incredible job of that, providing sort of a steroid shot of community influence into whatever different little pocket of nerfery it visits. We have every intention of doing that at Penn State, and then we're looking at other universities already for 2021 in an effort to always be as prepared as we possibly can for you. That said, if you just can't travel to Penn State, I want to point out that EndWar has 2 events that I would consider to be sister events to HvZ EndWar and make it a little bit more accessible. They're each roughly about half the size of EndWar. At this point, I think we should be expecting that Ragnarok will be half the size and Foam Fest should be maybe a little bit under, but very close in its 2nd year. And those are located respectively on the west coast of the United States and in the UK. They're both tremendous events. They both follow kind of EndWar's flavor of combining a convention style and then multiple different game types for multiple different kinds of nerfers, and I think that that's just phenomenal. Ragnarok in particular has its own tournament, which is growing in steam and competitive prowess very quickly, and then Foam Fest has some incredibly high FPS wars done at airsoft fields, sometimes with smoke grenades, and I think that those are both very, very exciting. In an effort to keep EndWar as well educated and assimilated as I possibly can, I attend both of those events. So if you can't make it to EndWar, I highly recommend you check out these bastions of nerfy goodness in either the United Kingdom or over on the west coast of the United States. And if you do, drop by, say hey. My final little addendum is that I am an old school nerfer. I've been nerfing forever, from public parks to stadiums of the most expensive magnitude, and despite that, that legacy still lives on, and I think that nerfing should be free. EndWar, as it has grown in terms of complexity and overall attendance, has become a tremendous financial burden in keeping it that way. But I think that Nerf should be as accessible as possible, particularly when compared to other shooting type sports. I think that it's just a phenomenal entry into the hobby, and I think that attending your first big event, EndWar, should be an amazing experience, and in doing so, I want your experience to be as inexpensive as possible, i.e. free. So we provide you all necessary game pieces. All you have to do is bring a tremendous attitude and preferably some way to hydrate yourself, although if you don't, we'll do that too. This is only possible because at its current size, EndWar cannot be sponsored exclusively by one man. At this point, it is only plausible because we have a tremendous amount of sponsors, a network of people who help us, an incredible volunteer staff, and in the realm of sponsors, if that is something that you're interested in, there are two primary ways to do it. One, shoot me an email. Description box below has all of this information saying you want to HvZ EndWar sponsor or just EndWar sponsor, and I'll be sending out a blanket email to all interested parties. I have a full list of people who have sponsored in the past and want to sponsor this year. Make sure that you include yourself in that group, and I'll send you our menu of sponsorship opportunities. That's how you wind up on the bandana, that's how you wind up on the big banner, all the t-shirts, and in my shoutouts. But in particular, there are a few people who have sponsored EndWar every year since the beginning, and that's the big three in our hobby. That's Luke over at Out of Darts, that's Thomas and Charles over at Containment Crew, and that's Addie and Michelle over at Foam Blast. EndWar is only possible because these fantastic community-driven, community-involved supporting companies support our largest community event. And from the bottom of my little undead, unbeating heart, thank you guys so much. If you're interested in joining their most lofty and noble ranks, sponsorship information will be in the description box below. It starts at $250, which is a lot for some people and not a whole lot for others, but if that interests you, I'd be more than happy to feature your family-friendly logo in all of our printed materials. And if that seems like way too much money for you, but you still want to support the finest foam flinging event around, it is still sponsored at a cash detriment out of my personal pocket, and so you could always hit up my Patreon, get your monthly patch, and well, the excess from that money goes into making things like traveling to other events possible, and of course bearing the cash brunt of putting on HvZ EndWar and fully ensuring it and making it as special as it possibly can be. Thank you guys so much for watching. If this didn't apply to you, I hope that someday it does. If you watched the entire thing, leave me a kind comment down in the description box below. It's hard to believe that we're on our 4th year, in some ways our 5th year of HvZ EndWar, and it's just incredible. Our community deserved an event that was something for everybody and everybody could attend, and I'm just so honored and privileged to get to put it on for you year after year after year. And the growth in that order has been surprising, humbling, and absolutely wonderful. I love watching our hobby grow and that rising tide raise all of our boats. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you in June at Penn State, Pennsylvania. Much love. Nerf on Drag out!